You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 15th day of September, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First live broadcast is from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That's our live training room. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, you can do so by going to mytradingiq.com. At the top of the page, you'll see a link that says 5-day free trial. All you have to do is click the link, complete the registration form, and your journey begins. Doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you sign up for the trial. First, we'll get your desktop set up, your indicators indicating, and then the following trading day, that's when your 5-day free trial will start. So even if it stretches over a weekend, you'll still get 5 consecutive trading days. When the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, take a 30-minute break, then we come back to the afternoon broadcast at 12 noon Eastern, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There are 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast. The best way, go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform where you have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you'd still like to join the broadcast live. And there'll be days when you're just busy and can't join live, but wish you could. Well, we have a solution that will handle both situations. It's our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today or this week, but over the years. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, even more, much more, and just pick some days at random. You don't have to even listen to the whole broadcast, just peek in on a couple days. You quickly see the thread of activity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. youtube.com/CFRN. Let's open with a word of prayer, as we do every day, and our daily devotional. Our devotion yesterday, today, and I think into Monday is on Stephen Furtick's book, Sun, Stand Still. If you missed yesterday's episode, thanks to YouTube, you can go back and listen to that. Our scripture today comes from Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. And I'm sharing with you from the Message translation. Moses was shepherding the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, priest of Midian. He led the flock to the west end of the wilderness and came to the mountain of God, Horeb. The angel of God appeared to him in flames of fire, blazing out of the middle of a bush. He looked. The bush was blazing away, but it didn't burn up. Moses said, "What's going on here? I can't believe this. Amazing. Why doesn't the bush burn up?" God saw that he had stopped to look. God called to him from out of the bush, "Moses, Moses." He said, "Yes, I'm right here." God said, "Don't come any closer. Remove your sandals from your feet. You're standing on holy ground." Then he said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob." Moses hid his face, afraid to look at God. God said, "I've taken a good long look at the affliction of my people in Egypt. I've heard their cries for deliverance from their slave masters. I know all about their pain, and now I have come down to help them. Pry them loose from the grip of Egypt. Get them out of that country and bring them to a good land with wide open spaces, a land lush with milk and honey, the land of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite." Those were all, of course, before the website. And now verse 10. The Israelite cry for help has come to me, and I've seen for myself how cruelly they're being treated by the Egyptians. It's time for you to go back. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people of Israel, out of Egypt. Again, that was Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 through 10 from the Message translation. When you strip the biblical miracles of their spectacular special effects, a common plot point emerges. Extraordinary moves of God begin with ordinary acts of obedience. Consider Moses' first encounter with God. Moses is tending his family sheep out in the nondescript countryside. He happens to notice a bush that's caught fire. He walks over to take a look. Up to this point, it's not exactly a riveting scene, right? In reality, the illustrious burning bush encounter that seemed so captivating in Sunday school is really quite ordinary. Moses is performing menial manual labor, working for his father-in-law. It's dusty. The sheep stink. Does it get any more mundane? Almost all encounters with God begin that way. You may be living under the illusion that when God ignites great things in your life, He'll announce it with a big bang. He might, but it's more likely that He won't. So stop waiting for the big bang. Instead, pay attention to the subtle clues and the still, small voice. Maybe you'll hear it this very day. What we call a miracle is really just the right combination of your ordinary ingredients and God's extraordinary expertise. When God's super collides with your natural, sparks will fly. God may call you to serve as an unknown youth pastor of 15 kids in a moldy basement for a youth room and with an Atari for entertainment. Ordinary. But He may also be providing you an opportunity to pour your life into one of these teenagers who will go on to preach the gospel in 1,000 places you'll never go. God may lead you to stay at home with your young children, forfeiting a second income. That's pretty ordinary. But along with diapers, dishes, and naps, you receive the gift of time to model discipline, instill values, and speak life into your kids. They could grow up to be Joshuas in their own generation. Extraordinary. If God is calling you to make a big difference today, He's likely to start in a small way. A bush that only you will notice. Will you remove your shoes, draw close, and receive your assignment? Will you give the Lord permission to ignite your ordinary? If you will, before long, your faith will start carrying you to a higher level than you ever thought could reach. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we are reminded of the profound encounter between you and Moses at the burning bush, as described in Exodus chapter 3. Just as you called Moses to a unique and purposeful mission, we believe that you have a special purpose for each one of us. Lord, we stand in awe of your holiness and your sovereign plan. You called Moses from the ordinary to the extraordinary, from a shepherd to a leader. And you are calling us to step into the fullness of our own callings and destinies. Like Moses, we may sometimes feel inadequate or unqualified for the tasks you set before us. But we trust in your equipping and empowering, just as you equipped Moses with the authority and strength to lead your people. In moments of doubt and uncertainty, help us to hear your voice clearly, just as Moses heard your voice from that burning bush. May we be attentive to your guidance, and may your presence go with us as we step into the unknown. Lord, we ask for your holy fire to ignite our hearts and minds, just as that bush burned without being consumed. May your Spirit burn within us, filling us with passion and zeal for your kingdom's work. We recognize that your call often leads us to confront injustice and to be agents of change, just as you called Moses to confront Pharaoh and lead the Israelites to freedom. Grant us the courage to stand up for what is right and just in our own lives and in the world around us. Lord, we surrender ourselves to your purposes, just as Moses surrendered when he said, "Here I am." May we be willing vessels, ready to do your will, to bring your light to a dark world, and to lead others toward the freedom and salvation found in your Son, Jesus Christ. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Everybody said, amen. Well, happy Friday. Everybody's been working for the weekend. And here it is. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently in the U.S., the Dow is down 185 points. The NASDAQ is down 178, which is a little over 1.25%. The S&P 500 is down 37, just shy of 1%. The Russell 2000 is down 20 points, just over 1%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 62 cents, trading 90.78 last. Gold up $16.50, almost 1%. Silver up 48 cents, trading 23.48 last. That's a gain of over 2% and almost $2,500 per contract traded. In the Asian markets, at the close, the Nikkei gained 364 points, just over 1%. The Shanghai dropped 8. The Hang Seng gained 130. In the European markets at the close, FTSE up 38, the DAX up 88, and the CAC up 70. And for the CAC, that's just shy of 1%. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far, it is a red Radio Friday here in the US of A. Let's go to Logic 247. Very quiet week. As of the recap Valerie did this morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, we're in week 267. Over the last 267 weeks, we've issued over 15,000 individual handcrafted alerts. Under normal conditions, we'll have 50 to 100 alerts in the course of a week. The last few weeks, market structure just has not provided those opportunities. Since the market opened Sunday night, and then we had rollover, so we didn't do anything, I think, till Monday night. We've only issued 19 alerts, one never triggered. At 7 a.m., we were still waiting on one. Gave us 17 actionable alerts, which 24% would have been stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible, based on market structure, and a simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Over the last 267 weeks, we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on the risk profile I just gave you. So we'll end this week a little over the 20% mark, but we've had a lot of weeks down in the 3%, 4%, 5% range. So we're still, at this point, well below the 20% average over the last 5 years. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action. There's time built into each alert. For you to receive the alert, go study the 30-minute chart and actually see the window of opportunity that it represents. That is the purpose of the alerts. The purpose of the alerts is not to just trade the alerts and not have to worry about ever learning how to trade. The alerts are designed as a training tool so that you can repeat this process over and over. Get an alert, go to the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that the alert represents. You'll begin to understand why it's a window of opportunity. Because we want you to become self-sufficient. We want you to reach the point where you don't need anybody to tell you when to get in or when to get out. All you need is a chart with real-time data, and that's it. Of course, along with the strategy that you've learned and the indicators that you own for life as a passport holder. Now, our original alert service, concierge trade alerts, those are a little bit different. Number one, they're based on historic price action. And when historic price action meets current price action, that's where you'll find some of your best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. The CTAs are published as a static report every evening shortly after the Globex Open. Globex Open is 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday through Thursday. So we all know that today's the Friday session, of course. But keep in mind the Friday session began last night, Thursday night, at 6 p.m. Eastern here in the U.S. So all of our members and all of our trial members had these numbers last night at 7:20 p.m. If you're not a member or a trial member, you can grab a screenshot. Or if you're watching this after the fact, you can just hit pause on the video and jot down any numbers that apply to whatever markets you actually trade. So what do you do with this report once it's published? Well, number one, just focus on the markets that you actually trade. We'll use the ES as an example because it's the most popular. When this report comes out, go to your 30-minute chart. Make note of where price is at the time the report comes out. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. That part, pretty simple. You have to look left to spot any potential obstacles, such as previous swing highs or swing lows, which can become current support or resistance. And over time, you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Remember, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. The moment the markets open, Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, if price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone above. If it's below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone below. We've published the zone since December 14th of 2009. They come out on Monday mornings at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, except when there's a Monday holiday. Then they come out Tuesday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. So let's go to the daily chart, the S&P. You might say, well, I don't trade the S&P. That's okay. The example here will serve you the same. You might say, well, I don't trade a daily chart. Neither do I. But I look to the daily chart to give me very important information. It shows me where major areas of support and resistance are, and it gives me a clue as to what the institutional traders are doing. They're the ones who actually move price. Why? It has to do with account size. Institutional traders have accounts denominated in hundreds of millions and billions and even trillions of dollars. A typical retail trader has an account in the thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So when the institutional traders trade, because of the size in which they trade, that's what actually moves price. Our strategy and our indicators are not designed to outsmart the institutions with all their resources or to beat the market, whatever that means. Our strategy and indicators are designed to help you just clearly see what the market is doing and why at any given moment in time, so that you know what the next high probability move is, because all you want to do is what the market's doing long enough to reach your goal for the day and then have the discipline to put the mouse away. Now, last night during the members only workshop, I drew in this trend line here. You see, yesterday we popped up out of this little right shoulder rectangle. We had a strong green day. Well, that strong green day has evaporated. In fact, we have an outside day. In other words, today's high is higher than yesterday's high. Today's low is lower than yesterday's low. Now we're coming down to the 24% fib retracement. Remember, I've adjusted the fibs. We had the lowest fib at the October 13th low for a long time, but we've rolled forward the contracts numerous times since that October 13th low was put in. So I readjusted the fibs to reflect the low of March 13th and the high of July 27th, which puts the 24% fib retracement right here. Now, talked about what would happen if price got above this trend line and, more importantly, took out this high. That would typically negate the head and shoulders pattern, and price would attempt to go up and take out this high. We said if price gets rejected from this trend line or from this swing high and goes back down into the shoulder, then the head and shoulders pattern is still in play. However, below us we have obstacles. We've got the 24% fib retracement, which we've bounced off of today. We have all these lows across here. Those are potential support. Once we get through the 24% retracement, now we're looking at the low of August 29th, then the low of August 28th, then the 27th, and then this little doji, the low of August 18th. Break of that low will bring us to the 38% fib retracement, which will most likely be good support, at least good enough support for a bounce. How much of a bounce? Well, we can't say. But if price does come down through that 38% fib retracement, which is the neckline, then a measured move. A measured move is a move from the top of the head and shoulders pattern to the neckline. If we break that, it'll bring us down to here, which just so happens to line up previous bullish cross. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support, at least the first time down. But as you can see, there are plenty of obstacles on the way. The ones I've already talked about, plus the 50, that should be good for a really nice bounce. Then the 62. However, as long as the bounce off the 50 doesn't exceed the 38 and higher, and the 62 doesn't exceed the 50 or the 38, then the whole head and shoulders pattern itself is still in play. So keep that in mind. All alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. That's not a magical number, 30-minute chart. It's just the chart I've chosen to work with over the years. The vertical line separates today, Friday, from yesterday, Thursday. And as we were drawing in windows of opportunity last night in the workshop, we drew in this one right here. I explained why we had to get below this swing low. If you missed last night's workshop, you can go and check it out in the Telegram channel, where the members only workshop videos are stored after the workshop. So the markets opened last night. They came up to the weekly zone overhead. We had balloon climbing overhead, which turned to red and falling. Then we got the bearish cross. And then price dropped down to the weekly zone. In fact, it sliced through it. And then it retraced back to the zone it sliced through. Continued in the direction of the slice. Hit the short target. Then hit the zone at 45.13/14, where it's been consolidating for a number of hours. And now the step line is starting to cross red and falling. When that happens, when the step line fully crosses, the black line fully crosses red and falling, price will typically retrace to the BBC. Same is true when the step line crosses blue and climbing. On the Dow, price attempted higher, but there just weren't enough buyers convinced to push it. So we get a bearish cross, come down to the zone, catch a bounce, down to the next zone, spike it, bounce all the way back up almost to the zone overhead, and then back down through the zone and to the target, where we've been consolidating now for a number of hours. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night. We made a run up to the long target. Then, like the other indices, we rolled over. Price came down to the zone, 86/87, found support, sent it up to the BBC, pull back to the BBC holds more often than not, and then price dropped to the short target, bounced off the zone, and the second attempt took us through the zone. And now we've traded through this zone. We're consolidating sideways, and the step line is about to cross red and falling. If it does, then price will most likely attempt a rally back up to the BBC. On the NQ, here's where we opened. Barely took out yesterday's high. And then we dropped below the BBC, hit the target. Now we've worked our way all the way down to the zone at 15,432. And we're consolidating sideways. So that whole thing we talked about last night in the workshop, didn't break this trend line. We didn't take out this high. In fact, quite the opposite happened. So Thursday, starting to look like a potential head fake, because we're back to building that right shoulder. So we made it all the way through the NQ. So when Michael's done,
I'm here.
we'll pick up with the, yeah, I know you're.
Okay.
So when Michael's done, we'll pick back up where we left off.
All right. Good. Well, I got right in, so that was good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go here. There we go. All right.
All right. Looks good.
Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 15th day of September 2023. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Right here it says sign up for your free 5-day training now, 9:30 to 11:30 Eastern time. Click there and you'll be sent to a registration page. Looks a lot like this. Hang on, I had to sneeze. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to be sent to a registration page that looks a lot like this. Fill out the form. If you have TradingView or you have a NinjaTrader, put in this information down here. Okay, if you put that information in, we'll be able to get your stuff going for you ahead of time. All right, we'll get it going as soon as we can to benefit you, the trader. Now, the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 15th day of September 2023. Today, we lost 19 ticks in the NQ. We made 19 ticks in the Russell, and we traded crude oil today. We swapped gold for crude today. We made 27 ticks in the crude, 7 ticks on the ES. That puts us at 357.50 on the morning session. So, you know, I don't know what we would have gotten in gold. I'll look at gold too if I have. Yeah, I do have time. I'll look at gold too in just a few minutes. But I know we got 27 ticks in crude, and we haven't gotten 27 ticks in gold. Then, well, when was the last time we got 27 ticks in gold? And gold is actually $10 a tick, so it's the equivalent of 54 ticks. Last time we got 27 ticks in gold was all the way back here on June 7th. And crude is $10 a tick, so whatever. Today it took 10 minutes and one trade to get to the goal for the day. We at $900 a contract at that point. That was a 10-tick trade on crude oil that we got that on. And we made 21 ticks. I'm sorry, 21 trades this morning, 21 trades. So on the month now, we're at $2,702. That's over 9 trading days, averaging $300 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we've gotten our goal on 171 out of 175 days now, and we are at $77,627. Again, that's one contract for the morning session. If you were to quit trading, then you get your goal for the day and you add one contract a month. So far this year, you would have only had to work 54 hours and you would have averaged $2,235 per hour for those 54 hours. Again, that's not to say that you're going to sit down and make $2,200 an hour. But so far this month, I worked 215 minutes getting my goal for the day. And a lot of that is the first 15 minutes that I do. I added those 15 minutes at the morning coming into the pre-market. But 215 minutes getting my goal. If you divide that by 6, it comes out to roughly 3.5 hours. So in 3.5 hours so far this month, I've made $11,460. Not too bad. All right, let's get into the actual trades. Here we are. All right, so on the crude oil, let's start with that. All right, let me slide it all the way back right in here. I believe this was our first trade on crude, and we picked up 10 ticks on this. This was the number we were looking for. It went down, hit that number, and bounced right off it, came back up and gave us a second trade right here. And so we took 10 ticks on the first trade and 17 ticks on the second trade. All right, that put us at 27 on the crude. I don't know if we traded it again. We had a couple of break-even trades, one here and one here. And that looks like all we did with crude. Now the crude hours are a little bit different, so it slows down a little bit sooner, but it starts up a half an hour earlier too. Just so you guys all know, crude actually starts right here. It opens a half hour earlier than regular markets. It also closes earlier, so it'll be closing soon. But we did end up with a couple of decent trades on crude, and that was all that we needed from crude. On the Russell, we ended up with, what did we end up with on the Russell today? Plus 19. So we had these couple of trades. I got 1 tick on this one, and I got 18 ticks on this one. That put us at plus 19 on the morning session with the Russell. We got into a no trade zone here during the break, and it hasn't come out of the no trade zone. That's kind of a rough spot to be. You know, you just in there in a no trade zone for the whole lunch period. There's nothing you can do. You just don't trade. You know, go do something else. If your lunch period is the only time you have to trade, well, then you didn't get to trade today. The ES, look at all the no trade zones here on the ES too. We did trade the ES a bit though. Started out, our first trade on the ES was right here. We picked up 1 tick. Then we had 4 more on this one to get us to plus 5. And then we stopped out on this one to get us to minus 5. And then here we picked up 12 ticks to get us to plus 7. All right, and I ended up with a break even on this trade. And that was it. After that trade there at 11.10, it went sideways and didn't give it any more trades. No, it's not even 12.50. And I've already gotten to the NQ. Wow. All right. Well, I can take my time with the NQ, but I'm going to show you gold too, and then we can go over some of the things that we talked about last night, possibly. Let me slide this all the way back to the beginning. Now, Alt, was it Alt or Control Shift arrow? No, Control arrow. Yeah, I think Control arrow makes it go faster than Alt arrow. So I do Alt arrow. Control arrow. Oops. I don't know. Let's go back here where we were. All right. Well, it is faster than sliding it anyway. Let me see. There are no questions in here. Oh, hang on. Yes, finding reasons not to trade is possibly one of the most valuable skills about trading, Jack. I did not get the next session ready. Let me just go do that right away. Now that I have all this time. Normally right now, I'm usually scrambling around trying to get stuff ready to go. But today, I have all this time, and I got all of this week's morning sessions ready to go already. My computer just locked up. Here it is. Okay, let me hit refresh on this, and do that. Okay. So getting back to the beginning here, our Freedom NQ was right here. Now I had to break even on that one. Now, one thing I want to go over here is we had a ton of trades that I didn't end up getting into, but the trades, we have a green arrow and the black is in the right color, the black is in the red. Look at those trades in particular, right? Because we had one right here that worked out well. We had this one that I took right here on the NQ, and I believe I got 8 ticks on that one. All right, we had this one right here. Black is in the red, worked out just fine. All these black arrow trades right here, if they had the red on the outer band, that's something to look for. One of them didn't work out, but this green arrow trade right here, I took a break even on. That was enough to get me to break even. See, the black is in the red right there. Now that didn't put in a lower swing, so this one doesn't matter. Moving along all the way over here, the black is in the red on this one. I believe it was enough to get the stop to break even. 97.25 down to 95. Yes, even if you got one tick a slip on that, it was still enough to get the stop to break even. Now it turned around, and this one right here would have stopped you out, but the black is not in the right color. Right? I didn't take that trade. This one right here, the black line is in the right color. That would have given you some good profit. This one right here, the black is not in the right color. That would have stopped you out. This one right here, the black was not in the right color, and it did stop me. At that point, I went from +8 to -12. Okay. This one over here, the black was not in the right color. It was pretty close. It would have worked out if I did take it. I did take it, actually. I got a break even on it. The next one here, it was really not in the right color, and that would have been really close to a stop out if it didn't stop out. But over here, the black was in the right color. That would have worked out. You would have needed a higher swing to be able to take that one. None of these, the black was in the right color. I didn't do any of those. Get over here, the black's not in the right color. Not in the right color. Not in the right color. I got to break even on that one. And at this point, guys, I'm still at -12. In here, the black was in the right color. That would have given you enough to get your stop to break even at least. And this one, the black was in the right color. I picked up 12 on that to get me back to break even. This one, the black was not in the right color. That would have worked out. This one, the black was not in the right color. It stopped me out. So I'm back down to -20 right there. This one, the black was in the right color. I missed it. This one, the black was in the wrong color. That would have been hard to sit through. It would have been a break even, or just a little better than a break even. I had another break even trade right here. Now I'm at -20 at this point right now in my day, right? Black line's not in the right color. It would have worked out anyway. In here, the black is in the right color. That would have given you a profit. Did not put in a lower swing, so you couldn't do any of these. I took a break even on this. This one, the black is in the right color. This one would have stopped you out. Now, if you go back and look at all those trades that I did, I think we're at 7 out of 8 right now. But the black is in the right color, would not have stopped you out. Right. We missed the one. There was one trade in here somewhere that I did that I got 1 tick profit on. I don't know where it was. It might have been this one right here. I got 1 tick profit on to put me at minus 19. Okay, but if we go through during the break right here, when the black is in the right color, right? The black is in the right color for a long trade right here. That one didn't work out. Black is in the right color for a short trade with the green arrow right there. That worked out. This one right here, it didn't. This one, it would have been a break-even trade. This one's in the wrong color. This one's in the right color. Nice move. This one's in the wrong color. So I guess I'm saying all of this to say that the higher probability green arrow trades, the black is going to be in the right color. You know, this morning I missed all the good trades, and I got some of the ones that didn't work out. And you know, when that happens, it happens. You know, sometimes you get into the market at just the wrong time. You start your day just the wrong time. And you miss all the trades that were good that happened right before it, and then you get like 3 or 4 of them right in a row that don't work out, and then you know, and then you got to stop, and that's okay. There'll be another day. Yeah, the other thing that I want to look at was gold. I want to see what happened with gold today. Okay. Now, I wasn't looking at gold on my DT charts, but I wanted to look at, there's a couple other things I want to look at on the DT Pro charts coming up here in just a few minutes, okay? But the gold, since I substituted gold today, I kind of want to take a look and see how it would have done had I not done that. Right, so I wouldn't have taken any of these trades right here because I would have been looking for the green arrow after the direction changed. I wouldn't have taken this because I would have said there's not enough separation in here. So my first trade would have been here. That would have been an okay trade. My next trade would have been here. That would have stopped me out to the tick. I wouldn't have taken that or that. And so depending on how I did on this one would depend if I ended up positive. So there's no way that I would have done better on the gold, because I would have taken this and I would have stopped out. I don't think I'd have taken that, even though that worked out just fine. It had a gap from here all the way down to here. So if I didn't have my order waiting there, I wouldn't have taken it for sure, because it would have gapped all the way down here and come right back. It would have been too late. If I did have my order on there, then it still would have been tough, because look at the gap that it had. This was right when the news came out right here. I was not doing anything right here. But when the news came out, it gapped down here, and then it gapped all the way back up from here, all the way up to here. So if I did have an order on there, I would have had a 30-tick target on it. And so my entry point would have been here, 45.8. It dropped down here to 44.3, so it would not have hit my 30-tick target. My stop would have been at minus 10. It would come back up and hit me with the stop right here before I could have done anything. So if I was trying to take that right on top of the news, it would have stopped me out for sure. So it was good to substitute the crude and put it back up there. CL. We're on the V contract, V 2023. Okay. The other thing I wanted to point out to you guys was this. Since I switched to the crude today in the room, I also wanted to switch to the crude with the weekly trading zones. Okay, so in here in the weekly trading zones on the crude, I had to add this chart with the zones on the crude, and you can see that we were traveling between yesterday and today, 2 days ago and today. We had this big move up, and we talked about this in the meeting last night. We had this big move up, and this retracement that you see right here, if I were to do this, being 50% retracement of that huge move up, right? So we're bouncing off the 50% retracement of that move up, and that's a pretty good thing. It's a pretty big thing, really. I mean, I deleted the wrong one. That it bounced here. If we end the day up above this level right here, over the weekend, anything can happen. We were talking about this last night in the partners meeting. About the last time crude was way up here like this was June of 2022, I believe. Maybe June of this year. March of 2022 was up to $135. That was right after the Ukraine thing started. It could go anywhere right here. There's a lot of things going on right now. Yep. There's issues with the Panama Canal right now. There's just a lot of stuff happening right now. Geopolitical things that could change the way crude acts. But we just have to trade what's in front of us. And these are the zones for this week. Next week's zones, when they come out Sunday night or Monday morning, whenever. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong thing. hang on. Let me get rid of that. I meant to do this. Next week's zones, when they come out, you know, they're going to be spread out pretty wide, I would think, because we had a big range this week. So I think next week's zones are going to be spread out pretty wide. But we came down to the 50% mark here, and it's bouncing off of that too. Came back almost up to the high right there, and it's consolidating a little bit here. We'll see what it does. I mean, the market's going to be closing up here. The crude market's going to be closing up here pretty soon. So it doesn't look like it's going to do anything coming into the close. But over the weekend and at the open after the weekend could be interesting. All right. So I said all that. It is time to actually jump into the other thing right now. But if you've not taken a free trial with us, go to mytradingiq.com. Click on this, sign up for the free trial. All right. In the spreadsheet, so far in the year, on the month, we're at 2702, averaging 300. On the year, we're at 77,627, averaging 453. That's per day. This is for the month. This is for the year. Okay. We did get the goal after 10 minutes and one trade this morning. All right, back here. Let me hit start on this. And that is just about ready to roll. We're in no trade zones on 3 out of 4 markets right there. You see that? No trade zone, no trade zone, no trade zone. All right, so the live stream has just begun. And for anybody that's going to be coming on the live stream, go over all this stuff again in just a few minutes. All right. We have, so far today, let's just look at the news that came out today. So this is yesterday, and this is today. All right, so everything's looking just rosy, isn't it? Isn't it? And why do they say that like 80% of the people in the United States right now don't have a $500 savings account? Empire State Manufacturing Index came in. I mean, that's a huge, and that was a high impact news event. Look at the difference there. That was a huge miss. Import prices. I mean, what is that all about? The Manufacturing Index. It's a leading indicator of economic health. Businesses react quickly to market conditions, and changes in their sentiment can be an early signal to future economic activities such as spending, hiring, investment. Above 0 indicates improving conditions. Below indicates worsening conditions. So we went from a minus 9.9 to a plus 1.9. Who's making these statistics up? And we had a minus 19.0. That's just crazy. I don't believe any of it. The capacity utilization rate better than expected, just a little bit. The industrial production way better than expected. Import prices better than expected. How could that be? Consumer sentiment somehow came in worse than expected. With all that stuff being so rosy, this is worse than expected. I don't believe any of it. All right. So trading right now, we have no trade zones here, here, and here. The crude oil, we're in crude over here on the left now, not gold today. Right? We went to crude. We decided that last night in the partners meeting when we saw that we weren't getting any trades in gold, or not very many trades in gold. I substituted it with crude, and it's funny because crude got substituted with the Russell a couple months ago. We'll see how the crude acts around rollover time. Gold is nowhere near rollover time, and it's acting like it's on return. So I'm going to keep putting what's moving in here. You know, we may trade bonds in here before you know it. You know, we could have like the ZN. Let's look at that. Let's look at the ZN. That's a 5-year bond. Okay. Here it is. Oh, it's a 10-year note. Sorry, the 10-year note. ZF is the 5. I think the 10 years got. I think the 10 years is the one to be in right now. But let's just see how many trades that's given up. Okay, none. None on a 7 range. But if we bump it down to a 3 range. This morning, let's blow that up a little bit. We don't have any trades yet. We're going to get one pretty soon here on the NQ, I think. Okay, but we're ready to get anything on the bonds. All right, so we're not going to trade to the CN. It'll be a long time before we move to bonds. Go back here to crude oil. Now, we've started to move here. We're out of the no trade zone now on the NQ, so we may get a trade set up here. All right, we're out of the no trade zone here on the Russell. We may get one there. I got to bump this back to a 7 range on the crude oil. All right. If anybody's got any questions, now's the time to ask them. For those of you guys that are in the live stream this morning, we got our goal. First, show you a couple of things. One, we got our goal in 10 minutes and one trade. We're at $900 a contract at that point. And we took a total of 21 trades. We finished the morning session plus 357.5 per contract. All right, that's how we did the morning session. We had crude oil made 27 ticks. Russell, we made 19 ticks. The ES, we made 7. And oddly, on the NQ, we were negative 19. We missed all the good trades and we got a couple of bad ones. But yeah, one of the other things I wanted to show you, if you are interested, we do a live stream. For those of you guys that are in a live stream right now on TradingView, we've been doing a live stream starting at 9:15 in the morning. Okay, you get to it the same way you got to this one. Here, I'll go here to TradingView.com. TradingView.com. It may end up logging me off somewhere else. Might log into it again right here. But if you go to community, just check and make sure we didn't get that NQ trade yet. You see, we're in the overbought right here, but we need to get to ribbon here. We're going to get a black arrow in a minute. There it is. Read that. Okay. So in here right now, waiting for my computer to just loading pages up. Let me see who is out here in the audience right now. Stephen S. You have not gotten back to me. Jay, you should have gotten the link I sent the meeting that we're going to be doing in a little while. Stephen S., if you need to talk to me about anything, you just need to get a hold of me. You got my phone number. And in here, okay, so this is the current stream that we're doing right now. But the Monday morning one, 9:15, this will be the Monday morning one, okay, 3 days. You can click on that one if you want to start at 9:15 in the morning with us. Now I go 9:15 until I get the goal. I actually try to go a full half hour, okay? There's only been 1 day so far, I think, since I've been doing this that I didn't get the goal for the day in the first half hour. I think I got it in like 43 minutes or something like that. We can look in here and see. 45 minutes that day right there. Nope, about 37 minutes on that day, 45 minutes on that day. So you can see when I started doing it early, I added 15 minutes everything. So there's only been 2 days since I've been doing that it took me more than half an hour to get the goal. All right, back here to this. Still no trades here that I'm willing to do. The ES should come out of the no trade zone now that it's moved down. So all the indices are starting to move down right here. Now, why is that important? Well, are the markets selling off for the end of the day? They start ready for that. What is happening? Let's look at, we can't look at the Russell. Let's look at the NQ in the East. Now the NQ has had a huge move today. It went to this weekly trading zone, then through that weekly trading zone to the midpoint, and then through the midpoint right down to the next weekly trading zone. Through that one to the midpoint, then back up to the weekly trading zone. Then all the way down to the next zone below it, and now it's hesitating down here at this zone. So where's it going to go from here? Between the two zones is right here, all right? Down here at 394. Why is everything selling off? All we had was good news this morning, and it's not like it was built into the market. Why is everything selling off? That's the NQ. I'm on the ES. I had it on an hourly. I'm going to go back to the 30-minute on this. Okay. On a 30-minute, you can see we did the same thing. The ES just tanked today, just sold and sold and sold. And this right here is the next level down. Okay, 45.05. We'll see if we get there. I mean, there was buying pressure right here before 45.07. So I would expect it's going to get down to 45.07 right now, a couple more points. And it was buying pressure down here, so it might get kicked back from right here, back up toward the zone, not toward the zone, back up toward the. We'll see if it does. It doesn't. Now I haven't been able to do the Russell on the 30-minute all week. Now that I think about it, all week. And I still can't. It's still not giving me the right information. I don't know why. I'm going to have to try to figure that out. Maybe I'll try to figure that out today. See, here's the Russell. And if I hit refresh on it right here, there it is. Okay, so now it's got the 30-minute stuff. Okay, so now it's working. Now that I just said it wasn't working all week, it's finally working. Okay, so let's just back it out and come look at the Russell. Right, these are this week's weekly trading zones on the Russell. And I was able to draw all the lines on the zones earlier. We're right at the midpoint between these two zones right now on the Russell. So the Russell's at a bouncing point right here. The ES is pretty much at a bouncing point. It's almost there. The Russell's at a bouncing point. NQ, I believe, is also at a point where it should retrace back up to the weekly trading zone. So they're all at places right now where they should probably move up. Yeah, good news is bad news. It's been that way for, well, since Bidenomics began. But it's funny because it wasn't that way when Trump was president. And when good news was good news and bad news was bad news. And it occurred when it was Obama. And again, it was Biden. We've been doing this a long time. How many presidents we've been doing this, Dwayne? Start out with Bush. It's been a while. Bush, Obama twice, Trump, Biden. Yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to go down that road. Okay, so we got all the way down here to 45.07 now on the ES. I didn't know if we were going to get a pullback before we got there, but there was buying pressure here before. Pressure here before. Now, I don't know if it's going to give us buying pressure right now, but it's got to go below it. The midpoint is a little further down. Hang on a second. Okay. So what I was going to show you is on the ES. So the midpoint is right here, 45.05, 45.06. That's the next level down. It's the midpoint. It's just right here. And after that, the next zone is all the way down here. If we don't get a bounce off the midpoint, we should. But if we don't, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just got to trade what's in front of us. Everything is just dropping today. Everything is dropping. All right. I couldn't agree with you more there, Don. Yeah, and they changed that. Changed that, Michael. Sorry. Sadly, we didn't get our way on that one. We might as well have just stayed home that day. And all the COVID. It's like they wanted us all to go out and vote just to spread COVID because they knew what the result of the vote was going to be before we even went there. Sorry, I'm going there. I don't mean to. Sorry. All right. So on the NQ, I really wanted to pull back a little bit deeper, but if we get a down close on this, it'll probably give us a black arrow, and I'm going to take it because we haven't had a single trade yet. That's really no reason to trade. But I like to see a green arrow. I like to see a green arrow after you get a trend change. This is the deepest pullback we've had so far. So we haven't had a chance to get a green arrow yet because we haven't pulled back to the ribbon. Right? But we had all these black arrows, and now it's giving us a push down. And here's the trade. And my stop's at break even right now. And we'll see where it goes. It should go down here to 1150. All right, that's the low of the day. I have a target down here at 30, but if it hits 1150, that would be 26 for me. And that'd be okay. I'm gonna leave my target at 30 and see what we get. All right, we're sitting here. Now we're out of break even. So we have nothing. Okay. I like to see it come back and hit the ribbon after you get a direction change. I'm looking for the same thing here on the ES, but I'm probably not going to get it there either. The same thing on the Russell. The only thing that looks like it's going to actually come back and hit the ribbon is crude oil. That is trading really, really slow right now. If you look at crude, though, those of you guys who know what you're looking for, it's in there. It's in there on the DOM. Okay, the pullback spot and a push. You guys see it? If you don't know what you're looking for, take the free trial. Trial really is free. If you haven't taken the free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com. Sign up for the free trial right here. Right? With the free trial, you get access to the indicators. The only way to get access to the indicators is to take the free trial. So if you want to access the indicators, take the free trial. You're not going to find them looking in here, indicators and custom or technicals or anything like that. They're only an invite only, and we get that one and that one. Okay. There's going to be no trade here. We got to hit the ribbon, or we got to get into the overbought, one or the other, or both. Okay, and on the NQ, we should put in a lower swing here. This is what I was looking for on that trade that we did take. We ended up with the break even on. We got down to the swing low. That would have been 26 ticks for me if I'd have stayed in it. I had a 30 tick target that was just 1 point below the swing low. So it's actually 25 ticks. This is gone since my entry. And we need this to pull back up and test the ribbon here. Looks like the ES wants the weekly trade. It does. I think it does want the weekly trading zone down below, Don. Everything is selling off. If we go look at those zones again, see, it's at the midpoint right here. That's what I was talking about. It's at the midpoint. And if we don't get a bounce from the midpoint, it's going to go straight down to the zone below. Okay. If we look left, all the way over here, there was a little bit of buying pressure here before. Okay, a couple of times right here there was buying pressure, but it looks like it's just selling. And we're breaking through this, and it hit the zone once this week, a couple days ago. The CPI numbers came out, hit the zone, and bounced right off it. So this right here is actually kind of a woo spot right now that it's going through. It's going into. So it wouldn't surprise me if it goes right down to the zone. And we're not going to get anything here on the crude until we get a touch of the ribbon or an overbought. Let me check out the live stream. Has anybody asked anything in the live stream? Nope. Nobody's asked anything in the live stream yet. If you guys in the live stream have any questions, just type them in. If you want to see any symbols other than what you see right here, just type that in as well. If you like what you see and you want to take a free trial with our indicators, then just go here to mytradingiq.com and sign up for it right here. Okay. And if you want to do the live stream in the morning, go to community, live streams, scroll down to the bottom right here. This is us in the morning. Okay. Back here. This did not close up. This did not get into the overbought. So crude oil is not giving us anything right now. We got a lower swing over here on the NQ. We need that to pull back. Okay. Okay. So those reminders I set for myself last night, Dwayne, they just went on. We talked about it in the meeting. And Boeing, I don't know if you saw it today. I went over the Boeing from the meeting, from this session yesterday. Somebody had asked me about the Boeing. And remember, we can go look at it really quick. Crude's not doing anything for us. We'll just go look at it. Look at Boeing, and we were looking at it. Let's look at it on a daily. Well, first an hourly. We were in here yesterday, and I said I think it's going to drop about $2 yesterday. So it was right about this time yesterday, right here. And I said I think it's because it was like up here. I said I think it's going to drop about $2, and that's about where it is right now. And I said over the next week, we were talking about it working its way back up here to 220. Okay, so the $2 thing from yesterday pretty much came through. And now we got to see the bounce back up to the ribbon up here to finish that, or to work on that other shoulder. Look at this going right down to the zone below. That is what we talked about yesterday with the Boeing thing. I can just try to remember it next week. I don't really have to, unless that person is in here again, I don't really have to remember it next week, but I can't tell. You know, in the normal webinars that we do, we can see who is attending. Look at the crude oil. In normal webinars that we do, we can see who is attending and all that stuff. You know, by name, time there, and all that. In the live streams, we can't see who's attending unless you actually type something in. We don't know who you are. We just know that somebody is there. Let's see. It's dropping right through it, right down to the weekly trading zone down here. Do we have another zone? Yeah, we do have another one down below that. So let's take the midpoint of the one below that. Okay. Because there's no reason to think it's going to stop at this zone. The point below that is 87.75. Right in there. You should look at the whole day. If we were to look at this on look at it on an hourly chart. Okay, so this is the first leg. This is the retracement. This is really the leg length from here to here. If that is indeed the leg length, then the next leg length would go all the way to there. Look at that. Now that would be something, wouldn't it? All the way to there. Interesting stuff. Dynamics of the market. That's what it looks like on the hourly. If we bring this back to a 30-minute, it looks the same. Yeah, the leg length is the same on the 30-minute. It's just spread out a little more. But that would not shock me. All the way down there, Don. You see that? 44.58, 44.59. We didn't have a trade set up for it in here. We didn't have one in here on the NQ either. The last ones we had were back here, these black arrows. Right? And I didn't take them because I was looking for it to pull all the way back and hit through. I did take one of them. Didn't I take one of them? Took a little bit. Or break even. It's got to retrace at some point. We're getting a black arrow right here, right now. It's got to retrace at some point. We had a gap down right here. It's got to fill that gap. But see the gap right here between these two bars? From right here at 92.50 down to 86. That's a huge gap. So just a little bit of selling pressure going on. Ouch. All right, so you would think, but with range charts, the way that they do the range charts, I think they base it off of minute charts. So if you look into the fine print of how they created these range charts, it could be something about the way that they create the range charts. It gives it that right there. But it did pretty much fill it. So over here on the Russell right now, we want to see deeper pullbacks on all of these things. I really want to see deeper pullbacks. Now, if you took this rate here, you had enough to get your stop to break even. Right? If you took it there, you had enough to get your stop to break even. You know, just the pullback stuff. I would be looking at on the ES, something up here at the ribbon. On the NQ, getting back to the ribbon isn't going to be good enough. I would think on the NQ, the pullback should be, it's going to change directions, or it's going to look like it changed directions on the NQ. Okay, if it pulls all the way back up to here on the NQ, it's going to look like it changed directions. But looking ahead, it wouldn't surprise me if it pulls back up to here, gives us a couple of long trades, and then stops right here and then continues back down. Okay, now I'm just going to trade what's in front of me, but that wouldn't surprise me. So up here it was like right here, right? Wasn't it? It was up here somewhere. I said up here. It's like right here. Let me do it again just to make sure. I was going from here. I guess I can go from here down to here. Yeah, it was right there. That was pretty close. Right there. So if it does turn up right now, it's going to look like it's changing directions, and it will actually change directions during the retracement. But overall, this retracement should probably go up to there. If we bump this to a larger time frame, you know, like a 50 range, see, the retracement would be right up to here to the BBC. It wouldn't change directions in that case. It would just be a retracement up to the ribbon and push you down. This is where that same spot was right there. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't see any questions coming in the live stream, and we have 3 minutes left in the live stream. So far we have very few trades going there in the live stream. On the ES, if we do the same thing on the ES, well, you can see the retracement on the ES is going to bring it right up to the ribbon, so that'd be okay. If we were to do the same thing, it wouldn't actually hit the ribbon on the retracement, I don't think. But the Russell's going to bring it up to about right here. Okay. It's just what it's looking like to me. If you're watching this and you want to have access to the indicators, you need to go to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial. That's the only way you get access to the indicators. Now, you also get access to the live room in the morning. When you do that, you get 2 hours in the morning with us. You get one-on-one training with the indicators, at least to get things set up for you. So if you want to sign up for the free trial, do that. And if you're going to do it and you want it over the weekend, then do it now, so you can get it set up today, and you'll have it over the weekend. Right? If you're watching this after the fact. I thank you, David, for straightening that out with the 50 range. So I put that back down. I'm glad you pay attention to stuff like that, because you know, I do things then I get distracted. Like, I could have left this on Boeing on a 4 range or an hourly. Someone to Rico had to fix me this morning. I think I had the ES on a 4 range for a little while. All right, so we really don't have a lower swing here. I mean, you can take a trade here if it bounces off the ribbon if you want to. Just, you know, saying this is a little bit lower than everything else and it's pulling back and hitting the ribbon. If you're desperate to take a trade, you could take it. It'll probably have a pretty good probability of working out if the black stays in the red, if it doesn't pull back too deep. At least getting back down to the bottom of this junk. Okay, but it's not a very high probability trade right now. Okay, I would say if you got your goal for the day, then just put the mouse away and go do something else. still nothing here. And we got right back down to the bottom of it. Extended the range just a tiny bit. Still nothing worth trading over there. And it's now 1:30. All right, so I've run out of time in the live stream. I really don't see a reason to trade anything here right now. All right, the closest thing is crude right now. 66 down to 58 is what I'd sell right now on crude. 66 down to 58. Now we're running out of time with crude too. Remember, the crude market's closed earlier. But 66 down to 58 is what I do on crude, and nothing on these other markets. I wouldn't do a thing. If you haven't taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingIQ.com, sign up for the trial right here. Give us your TradingView information when you sign up. We ask for it right here. Give us your TradingView information right there. Okay. That's it. That's all we got. I just triggered into this crude trade. All right, short the crude right now. And here it is. But that may take a long time to develop or finish. It should go down here to the prior swing low to 90.46. The DOM is suggesting it is going to go at least to 90.48. Okay, those of you guys who know what you're looking for, you can see it in there. 90.48 is what it looks like it's going to go down to. 90.46 would be the swing low. Beyond 90.46 would continue the trend. There's not really anything showing up beyond 90.46 right now. But after 4 ticks in profit, we bump that stop to break even. Okay. Another gap down over here. You see that right there? Another gap down on the NQ. That's it. I'm going to wrap up the live stream at this point, and let me find the live stream. Hold on a second. It's over here. Okay, here we go. Wrapping up the live stream. Thanks for coming, everybody. If you have any questions, email support@cfrn.net or support@mytradingiq.com. Live stream is done. All right, D, I can pass back out to you. Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, South Mountain, Slaughter City Park. There goes that crude trade, guys. There goes a crude trade. Hang on, I gotta find my DOM. Where's my DOM? Here it is. Here it is. No, that's not my DOM. That's my gold. Crap. Here it is over here. Okay, now I can look. Oh, you guys can't see it anymore. I just took the charts. Okay, well, I just bumped my stop to break even on that. But the crude trade is starting to work right now. And the first number that I said was 48. It didn't get to that one yet. It got down to 50. Okay, but my stop is at break even on this. And now it's showing some numbers down at 40. All the way down at 40. All right, remember the swing low was down at 46. So if you took that trade, it's showing numbers down at 40.
30-minute BBCs at 43.9.
With 30-minute BBCs at 44.9. Okay.
43.9.
43.9. Okay. Okay, I was talking about crude oil.
Oh, I thought you were talking about gold.
No, I didn't trade
On
gold at all.
crude, crude is sitting right on top of the 30-minute BBC.
There it is. It is at some good level of support. I don't know, David. I don't think so. I mean, there's no guarantee that those gaps aren't really there either. You know, price had to have moved for that to happen, and they're acting as though they're real gaps. You know, when I've been in one of those, it's usually worked out well for me, but not always. You know, and all that is trading so thin. The NQ trades so thin. It's just somebody putting on. You know, like if I look at the NQ DOM right now, totals are right now they're below 100. So if somebody puts on 100 contracts, an order of 100 or 200, it's going to do everything that you can see on the DOM and then some. So you're going to have a 10-point gap, a 20-point gap. It's going to cover all that with 100 contracts. Yes, but volume bars for range bars,
They're all the same.
yeah. Anyway, I'm out of break even on the crude trade.
All right. Recap of the morning session.
This morning we had 10 minutes and one trade to $900.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, on crude, here's where we opened last night. We made a nice long run at the long target. We didn't quite get there, but we traveled far enough to get your goal for the day. Then we rolled over, blue and climbing, turned to red and falling. We got back below the BVC, so we got a leg, got a retracement, pull back to the BVC holds more often than not, and we dropped right to the target and through it. And we pulled back up to the BVC. This time we got above it and put in a double top. Pull back to the BVC, the pullback held, and we put in a lower high. Right now we're just sitting on top of support at the BVC and blue and climbing. But every time price tries to make a move higher, it gets rejected. So be careful on the long side. There's a window of opportunity there. Basically 90.75 up to 90.90. On gold, here's where we opened last night. Above the BBC, we remained above the BBC the whole session. And right up to the target, consolidated for hours. Ran up to the zone, consolidated for hours. Made one more pullback to the BVC. And then the 9 o'clock 30-minute candle took us all the way up to the zone overhead. Consolidated, as we do 70% of the time, at a weekly zone. We reached up to the next zone overhead. There wasn't enough buying conviction to get us there. The step line crossed blue and climbing. So, what do we expect to happen? Price to pull back to the BBC. Pullback holds, then we'll trade long. Pullback doesn't hold, then we'll trade short back down to the zone below, as long as there's enough room to do so. There may not be. I mean, you got a clean shot here, but what you really want to see is a candle open and close below the BBC, and then short it down to the zone, which is 40/41. So you just don't have a lot of room to work with there, unfortunately. Silver went on a opposite rampage of the one it went on yesterday. Here's where we opened last night. Above the BBC, ran right up to the target, then through the zone, through the next zone, and we retraced to the zone we sliced through. Ran up to the zone, found resistance. Resistance always sends the market looking for support, which it found at the zone. And then more resistance up at the zone. Now we got blue and climbing, turning to red and falling. And we have price getting below the BBC. So at this point, there's a pretty good probability. Now, there's a lot of time left in this 30-minute candle, but we very well may end up back at this weekly zone, 23.29. And on the euro, we opened below the BBC, but we had blue and climbing below us. Resistance overhead, support below. Support won out as we made the bullish cross, which gave us a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and a leg that took us all the way up to the target. We then pulled back into blue and climbing, and then we've been consolidating for a few hours at the weekly zone. Which brings us back to the daily chart. We have a huge red candle sitting right on top of that 24% Fib retracement. We got potential support here, here, here. Then we're at 38. and the neckline. So if off the open Sunday night, continue lower and we break the neckline over the coming days or weeks, very well may see our way back to basically 4,100, which from where we are now would be about a 400-point move. Again, it won't happen overnight. Take some time, but that's what it looks like. Head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Yesterday, last night, talked about the fact that head and shoulder pattern might get negated, but now today it's put back in play. Just have to break all of these lows to set the measured move in motion, and the measured move lines right up with climbing, or where we had the last bullish cross. To become a lifetime member, go to eminifuturestrading.com. The link actually works now. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. As a lifetime member, as a passport holder, there's no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, ever. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have someone to teach them how to do the job. Which is why we have a live training room 2 hours every trading day. Passport holders also have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The strategy you learn and the indicators you own for life are fluid across all markets, all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs. Price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. As a passport holder, you receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Of course, you get an invitation to the members only workshop on Thursday night. And you have access to all the previous workshops in the Telegram workshop channel. And you'll have access to all the Telegram channels, of which I think there's about 10. eminifuturestrading.com. Get your passport today. We'll have you set up and ready to go by the open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Good word for the day. Breaking out of the box. Psalm 78:41. Yes, again and again they tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. The Bible says they provoked him in the wilderness and grieved him in the desert. Yes, again and again they tempted God and limited the Holy One of Israel. They did not remember his power. Psalm 78:40. The Israelites continually provoked God's anger and grieved his heart in the wilderness. How? By limiting him. By limiting what he could do for them and through them. And we do the same when we fail to recognize and use the gifts he gives us and the creative ideas he places within our minds. God wants you to break out of the box of your own history, hang-ups, and personal limitations. One of the ways in which you do that is by constantly exposing yourself to new ideas, new places, and new people. God's word says in Isaiah 54:2, enlarge the place of your tent, and let them stretch out the curtains of your dwellings. Do not spare. Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes, for you shall expand to the right and to the left. Note the words in that scripture. Enlarge, stretch out, lengthen, strengthen, and expand. Creativity is just teachability. So are you teachable? The words on a tombstone read, died at 40, was buried at 80. Unless you keep learning, growing, and expanding your thinking, that can be your fate too. You say, well, I'm just not naturally creative. Creativity is not necessarily something you're born with. It comes from developing your God-given gifts and seizing the opportunities He sends your way in life. Do you want to break out of the box? That's how you do it. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell. Bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.